The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Another season of the Red Sox Racing League come and goes, and here we finish it up at Belle. We had another street circuit on the season, and we'll finish it out here on the season from the tricky confines here in Detroit. We saw how difficult it was in Long Beach. Well, let's see how it is here in the northern United States. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for tonight's coverage of the Red Sox Racing League, their GT3 Series 3 campaign, race number 6 here from the street circuit here at Belle. It's going to be just myself here tonight, Corey Silva in the booth here today. I am by my lonesome here as my fellow commentators have some other commitments, so it will be just me here with the calls here on the evening, but happy to bring them all to you. In regular fashion, we are here for qualifying as we typically start these races off, and we got about a 21-car grid here coming from the streets of Belle. And if you notice, we are back in 1440p, so if you are watching this from your television set, you may notice the higher fidelity and figure out some of the little technical bugs that were holding that back for me, so glad we can get that sorted here. But let's bring up our qualifying times here. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Ryan Robertson is up by approximately 0.4 of a second over second place Robert Barros, Lightning McQueen there. So we'll see if he can maintain that, or if Barros can. He's coming through the back end of the circuit right now, coming onto what I believe turn number 13, 14, a little kink here to the right, and that puts you right onto the pit straight here. Let's see if Barros can do any better. He will do a little bit better, not enough to reclaim the pole there, but it's 129 flat. When it comes to our point standings here, we do have two different scenarios at play. We have, of course, the one drop week that is a part of this series. So all 6 races are droppable, for lack of a better word. So we have the points without the drop, the points with the drop, and given the car count that we have here, with the drop week added, Ryan Robertson is up by 22 points, and without it, he's up by, I'm doing math off the top of my head here, 29 points. So basically, as long as he doesn't finish last, I basically think as long as he doesn't finish last, there's no physical way he does not win this championship. But again, he has just been lights out. He's won 3 races this season. The only races he has not won this season were won by Ross Booth, who is not with us here today. But we do have a potential battle for second. Dave Hill and Mark Wilson are in close confines there on each situation. If we omit the drop, if we add the drop week, Wilson is 4 points behind Dave Hill. And if we account for no drop week, he is 7. So I'm not obviously one of Wilson's drop weeks was his overall season a little bit worse in that regard by just a few points there. But of all tracks where mistakes can be made, here at Belle, this would be probably close to the top of the list here, with opportunities to make some mistakes here. We'll pull up our track map here from Detroit. 2.34 miles around this place, 14 corners here. We're kind of following Ryan Robertson and through turn number 14 right here. So let's just go on board with him if we can. This is turn number 1 right here. Well, never mind. Ryan is, well, the qualifying session is essentially over at this point. So let's see, this is Matt Owens we're on board with. He's through the very tight section here, back end of the track. This is leading into turn number 11, I believe it is. That leads us into a straightaway onto Strand Drive. Right-hander here, gotta watch out. This part is very, very tight. 12-13 here, turn number 13, exit tire wall there. Gotta be careful for that. And that'll set you up there for that pit road fork. And he will enter that pits there. Only other person on track is Robert Cansey in there. In the number 199 car. He's coming in. He will complete a lap as well. So that will conclude our qualifying. Everybody will have pulled into the pits and run their lap. So everybody just going to sit and wait for the race. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit that like and subscribe button here. The things will start picking up here on the channel soon. We'll get a lot of content coming up between Red Sox, our Spartan Sim Racing League, our muscle car series starting up, and working on some new things here. So happy to have you along for the ride. But that is the end of qualifying here on the evening, so we'll head down trackside, give you that PTR TV starting lineup here today from Belle Isle, Detroit. Starting today's race off from the front row, going to be none other than Ryan Robertson, 128.822. Robert Barrows not too far back there with a 129 flat. Next row finds Mark Wilson and Dave Hill. That's our battle for second there in the point standings. Third row will find Robert Canson and Sheldon Rosenbaum in that number 87 Stealth Blue ride. Dale Green in 7th. Rich Minkler going to be in the 8th spot. 9th and 10th will find Mark Kodrowski and then Les Turner. Robert Centerville in 11th. Brian Irby in 12th. 13th will find Dennis Griffin, and then Matt Owens in that number 14 spot. Dwayne McCarthy in 15th. Kevin Kyle in 16th. We have James Prostell Jr. I don't think we've seen him for a few weeks, but he's back here today in the 17th spot alongside Chris Sherburne. 19th is Bill Paulucky, and then Bryce Boyer rounding out our top 20. And then the final person here on the starting lineup going to be Gerald Livingston, shotgun on the field in the 21st spot. Our weather conditions here from Detroit. We get 71 in the air, 75 on the track, a little bit after 6:30 virtual time here. And most importantly there, you can see track status is dry. We will not have any issues with track moisture here in tonight's efforts, as we do have predominantly sunshine here, but you could tell by the virtual trees that it is a little bit windy here on the evening. You saw there on the graphic that they're of a 12-mile-an-hour wind. I don't think that will throw anybody off, but it is indeed a factor nonetheless. So just taking a wait here, and I think everybody except Prostell and Sherburne here is on the grid, so they will have a few more seconds to get themselves situated here onto the racing circuit. If they do intend to, they may choose to start from the pits here. Street circuits are traditionally single file here in the Red Sox Racing League, so while they are formatted double file right now, they will single file out here. That is traditionally the rule set here. On street circuits, they usually do race single file, and you can see they're already heating to that right now. I'm just going to wait for those teammates, the 323 and the 13, to mend themselves into line here. They're a little off skew. There they go, getting themselves in line. But Ryan Robertson is going to be the head honcho, most likely our champion, but he's going to want to celebrate it on Victory Circle. Let's see if he can do that. Green flag in the air. Let's go racing from Belle Isle. And then going through turn number 2 and turn number 3. Remember, turn number 2 was the turn that pace car had the issue in the IndyCar race, that very historic moment years back. But here we come down the long straightaway into turn number 3. Here we saw a look from Cansey in there. Chose to remain in line here, going back through the field. Everybody seeming to have themselves sorted out here. No issues here. Again, that's what the single file start is for. Give everybody their space. Everybody gets through the first lap or so, and then we start to put the elbows out and start getting out to action here. But you can see right off the bat here, Barrows, he's going for blood here down the back straightaway. Now he's going to go into turn number 7 here at the end of the straightaway at Strand Drive here. This is where the technical narrow section of this track opens up here. You head down 7, 8, 9, 10. You're kind of going around the fountain section here. And then not a lot of room to play with here. This is the hardest turn for me. Turn number 11 here. Hard right-hander. Got to watch out for that tire wall. And then turn number 12, another turn with a tire wall really, really juts out at you. And have to make sure you keep that thing in order. Very difficult to make passes through this back end of the circuit there. And you can see, I think Mark Wilson pulling off to the right. He's going to get out of the way there. And some of his, well, he's got a lot of guys by. He's going to go from third. That is Dale Green going around the outside there. Now he'll have the preferred lane on the inside through turn number 2, leading down the back, leading down the straightaway here. We'll omit the geography behind that, but yeah, Mark Wilson goes from about 3rd to potentially 7th here. Let's see if Wilson can do anything, rather Green can do anything with Wilson. He will fall back into line for the moment here. Heading into the hard left-hander here, turn number 6, rather turn number 5, right-hander turn number 6, and that opens us up to the long straightaway that is not quite straight. So you're getting that slipstream. The sun's starting to go down here over the skyline here, so that may cause a little bit of visual issues here as more time does evade there. You can see hopping the curbs here, heading through this middle section here, and don't want to hop the curbs too much. A little bit of off camber section, it feels there, and a few of those switchbacks does feel a little off camber, which does make it a little difficult. The track is essentially facing away from the direction of the corner there, kind of difficult handling wise, but you can see there as we pan through the back of the field, everybody doing the best they can to navigate this circuit there. There was Chris Sherburne and his Mercedes trying to pass that number 65 Ferrari of Kevin Kyle there, but he will fall back in the line a little bit further up. You got Matt Owens there. You got kicking up some dust there through turn number 1. That may slicken the track off. The more guys that do keep it off track there. A little bit further up on the shot here, we got Mark Kadrowski in that number 944 Lambo. Is going to dive to the inside of the Porsche of Rich Minkler, move him up to P8 here on the evening. But going a little bit further up here, you can see Dave Hill in that 3rd spot in the number 13 automobile. The fourth spot, 199 Robert Kansian, and then Sheldon Rosenbaum. All 3 of them are in very close proximity there, about maybe about a half a second separating all 3 of those drivers here. And does appear that Rosenbaum may be a little bit, rather Kansian might be a little bit faster than Hill. I'm not sure. I can't really assess Sheldon's pace in relation quite yet. But he is hanging right with them. Mark Wilson, remember, he dropped back all the way to the clutches of Dale Green. He's since pulled away by about 1.5 seconds over Green, and now finds himself trying to close in on that 3rd, 4th, 5th battle. I think he will accomplish that. Again, Mark Wilson known for a cautious driving style, and I think he may have been a little too cautious there, and it cost himself a lot of time, but he does seem to have the pace here to make that up here. Going a little bit further back, Les Turner, as soon as I logged into the server here this evening, I saw Les Turner 2nd on the board. Seemed to have some pace here today at Detroit. Started 10th though, currently running in the 10th spot. Hasn't found the pace here in the race, though he did run a flyer in practice, so interested to see here if he can continue that, or maybe find what he had accomplished earlier here. Sometimes you can sometimes as a driver you'll do something and then you'll find yourself asking over and over, how did I do that? Where did that come from? You could just never seem to duplicate what you had accomplished here. That's something that I know it happens myself quite frequently. I'll do something and then I can never seem to ever duplicate it. So I'm not sure what the situation is there, but obviously Les Turner will try and get that best lap he can, move himself up through the field from that 10th spot. Robert Barrows struck back about a second here. He was hanging about 0.6 of a second, and he's just slowly dropping back. But again, this is a track, being a street circuit, this is a track that it doesn't matter how much faster you are than your competition, you just can't ever let your guard down here. You can't ever just assume that everything's going to go all well and dandy, because anything can happen at any time. You can just get off focus for a millimeter and then put yourself in a situation where you are damaged, damage a toe link, get some suspension damage, whatever it may be. Matt Owens had some issues. He instantly towed himself there. Let's check out the replay. What happened to Owens in that blue and black number 077 again? Everybody's kicking dirt up there. Oh yeah, he just got a little bit too much curb there. Yeah, he too much curb, and that put him into the wall. So, and he did retire from the race, or tow at the very least. They do get, here in the league, they are given a fast repair, so he would have had to tow to the back. And then if he would like to, he has the ability to go back on circuit, use that fast repair, get himself back on track, but I do believe he may have taken it behind the wall. So that may be the race for him. James Prostel Jr. has made a pit stop here in that number 16. And still on the lead lap, but dead last. He already made a pit stop for 3 seconds. Don't know what that was for. A little early in the race for the fuel window, so not sure if that's what it was, but just making that factoid known nonetheless here. But here comes Mark Kedrowski closing in on Dale Green. That's going to be for the 7th spot here, closing and exiting turn number 2. Got a really good run, and he'll take that run down into turn number 3. Will he send it? Will he send it? Answer is yes. He'll drive it on in there into 3. And Dale Green will give it, but Kedrowski goes around and into the inside wall. There goes for 7th. And now he's going to go back, well, he's going to tow himself back to the pits there, and just didn't feel like he could have the opportunity to spin it back around. He just took it right to the pits. Too much curb. Second time we've seen that on the evening. This guy's using too much curb, and that upsetting the car. So Kedrowski goes from getting 7th all the way to 19th spot. I mean, I've covered a few races here for these guys. I mean, I don't remember what they were. I mean, they could have been the LMP2 combos. I'm not quite sure, but I know I've covered multiple races here, and they may be a GT3 thing, but I've just never seen them using so much curb, so many people dipping into the grass here through turn number 1. Just, of course, because I'm showing it right now, nobody's going to do it. But there was a lot of guys getting into the grass, and the curbs here are raised enough that they can, in these very low to the ground automobiles, they will, that, you know, instant arising into the air there over the curbs will upset the car, and we've seen 2 guys already have issues from that this evening. Here comes Robert Seneville into the pits here. This is 1/3 distance. Not sure if that's an early fuel stop for him, but either way, he has found himself into the pits. But Ryan Robertson has done Ryan Robertson things, and I kind of say it, I don't mean, it's almost slightly predictable. If Ross is not here, typically Ryan, I have yet to find, with Mitch Heller not being here, Booth not being a regular, we'll see guys hang with him for like 10 minutes, but after about that 5, closer to 10-minute mark, that's where he just turns on the afterburners. And you saw Robert Barrows hanging with him about half a second, 3/4 of a second. But as we get, further and further into these races, that's where, again, he turns the afterburners on. Now it's up to 2.5 seconds. So now Robertson, he goes from an offensive race to a defensive race. All he needs to do is keep it between the concrete, keep it facing the right way. There's already been enough attrition at this point, so I don't even think any amount of mathematics would cost him this championship. So Just a matter of defense for him. Sheldon Rosenbaum, I think he may be going for the offense right now. He is coming into the pits relatively early. Maybe trying to get that pit stop done, get him out of the pack. As I'll pull up my track map here, I forgot that I had enabled it for tonight's efforts, but you can see there's a lot of space on the racetrack for these guys to make these moves. So if they are able to, get themselves into a clean piece of real estate on track, then that would work out quite well. For example, right here, all through that area, I mean, that was a terrible drawing, but you can get the point. There's a lot of area there. So if you make a pit stop, you may get put into that area on the track, which will allow you to kind of run time trial laps. Then when everything merges out, you get put into the pack, and maybe you're in a favorable spot. I think that might be the mindset some of these guys have. I did make that little denotation here on the track map, so whenever the car that we are colored on, he will be in a red color, so you can kind of figure out who we have the camera on and where they are on circuit. Just little things here to help the viewer experience. Other drivers here on track at the moment. Let's see, we have it's Rich Minkler closing in on Dale Green. This may be a battle here a little bit further back. Chris Sherburne and Kevin Kyle. I followed them a little bit earlier, but the battle still is hot and heavy with them for that. Now it's 12th and 13th spot as things do present themselves here, but it looks like Kyle got off of 2 quite well down the straightaway into 3 using that Ferrari straight line power that we have been told that it does tend to have. A little bit further up, again, Minkler and Green certainly seems as such that Minkler is the faster car here as he'll head down the straightaway here. Let's see what he can do heading into 7 here. Getting himself set up. Not really a passing zone. It's a very hard turn to make a pass on. It's not sharp enough, and it's just the way that it is, the way that the angle is. It's actually hard to complete the pass here, but now it's really hard to complete the pass because you're in the technical section here, 7 through 11. Now you set yourself up. Don't hit the curbs because the curbs will throw you into the concrete here. Now on the straightaway into turn number 12, you complete 2 or 3 right-hand corners here. You can see that was Green. Missed the apex there, but he still got a pretty good run. And the lead will remain roughly about a half a second. And, oh, here comes Minkler coming into the pits here. So this is just a skosh before halfway. Trying the strategy call as well as Robert Kansian here. So guys pitting a little bit earlier here than we would traditionally see. Usually they're closer to, I'd say, 10 minutes, if not 6-7 minutes to go. But looks like they're splitting this race in half here. We have some guys trying some different things, but our race leader will still remain here on circuit. Getting into 7 here on lap number 10. We're estimating about 21 laps here of racing on the evening, and we are there at about, this is lap number 10. We will be completing lap number 11, so as the timer would dictate, just at about the halfway distance in tonight's race. And let's see if Robertson will keep it on track, as most guys will. This is the final corner before the pit straight. Well, second to last corner, pardon me. Here it comes. There's that white and the yellow attenuator there, but nope. Mr. Robertson will keep it on track as the lead will now excess 3 seconds here. And let's just pull up the lap times there on the ticker, switching it over very briefly. It was only 0.2 of a second last time by, so Barrow's not running bad laps, but he just does not have that consistency that Ryan does. Ryan can put those laps down every time, and you might see Barrows fluctuate by a half second, quarter second each lap. When you do that over the course of multiple laps, of course, it does add up and create those leads there. But third place, you got Dave Hill, and then we go all the way back about 5 seconds. We find Mark Wilson here, so that would cement him in the 3rd spot in the standings. Of course, if he can't make any headway on Dave Hill, which teammates there. I don't think there would be too much headway built there. I think they're going to help each other out, do what's best for them as a duo here, and looks like that's probably going to be where that ends up. So in terms of the Red Sox Racing League, if my iRacing knowledge is accurate, I believe we are heading into week 13 this coming week, which would mean a new week of build updates and changes and all these new features and content. So barring any, I haven't got the official word yet, but I'd probably imagine at least a week or two. Sometimes they even take a summer break here in Red Sox, so I could stay tuned for the next schedule. I haven't got it yet, but as soon as we get it, we will post it on socials and get you ready for this series. And if you're interested in joining, you can send us a message, reply to here in the YouTube chat, or you can just look up Red Sox Racing League on iRacing Leagues, and you can get yourself racing here on a Thursday night. Here comes Dwayne McCarthy in the Hulu BMW coming into the pits here, right again past halfway. Now we are 13 minutes to go. Many guys coming in behind. That is Paul Lucky, that is Kevin Kyle. They're both coming into the pits here. So now we have roughly the top 9 still on track waiting for their pit stops. Yeah, just turning these laps here at Belle Isle. Everybody pretty well situated at this point. Really the closest potential battle. Brian Irby closing in on Les Turner here. They are separated by roughly, I would say, about a half second to 3/4 of a second, depending on the lap here. So they are trying to make a battle there. Brian Irby, I think, trying to get by Les Turner, but I think the easiest way to get by will be in the pits. Most of these guys taking roughly 9 seconds worth of fuel. Of course, we know that those guys up front, predominantly Ryan Robertson, is usually very, very good on the fuel there. Bryce Moyer coming into the pits. Another driver who's usually pretty good at taking the right fuel is Mark Kodrowski, but after that little loop, again, he didn't really seem to get any damage there. But he just instantly, he couldn't get himself righted, was basically going to go back to last, and I think he just decided that he would rather just call it a night there than try to, work through the rest of the field here. Obviously not in a points position is Mr. Kodrowski there. If I look and scroll through, he's 8th on one standing. Yeah, he's basically 8th, so just decided, well, we'll call it. Maybe not a street circuit guy, and see what he can do next season here. But some guys coming underneath the starter stand there. Barney the flagman just watching tonight's efforts here at Belle Isle. We see all those 2 spins, but really no crashes here on the evening. 67 of Gerald Livingston will go 1 lap down to Robertson there. Well, it's a little bit of a wiggle there, but nothing that would be utterly catastrophic. Brian Irby coming to the attention of his crew here. 10 minutes left to go in tonight's efforts. And here comes Dennis Griffin as well. So that'll leave us 7 drivers on circuit here waiting for their pit stops. We are pretty well spaced out. Again, a 5-second lead for Ryan over Robert. Robert over Dave Hill has about 2.5 seconds. Then we go back another 5.5, 6 seconds to Mark Wilson. We go back another 9 seconds to Dave Hill. And then Les Turner is actually within about maybe a second or so of Dale Green, so that could be a potential pass being set up there if Les can just make up a little bit more time here, coming through the stadium section, as I like to call it. Looks like Dale Green getting on the power a little bit better there, pulls that gap out by about another car length or two. Again, the street circuits like this, everybody tends to have their own ideal places on track to be. Here comes Robert Barros to the attention of his crew here. Nice clean stops, no issues. You don't want to overshoot your stall. Maybe you can't win, but you got second in the bag. You may as well try and ensure that. Ryan and Mark Wilson still on track. Sheldon Rosenbaum has already pit. Dale Green, he is in the pits, just now exiting his pit stall. Get most of these guys in for 9 seconds, except for Mr. Dave Hill. Dave Hill, 7.1, by far the shortest pit stop of anybody here today. Most everybody 8 seconds is the next shortest time, so that's almost a second, even less than that. So I would be very surprised if Dave has enough fuel. I mean, I don't think I've seen a pit stop that short, couldn't think of the word there, at all recently in my time covering these guys. So that is very, very risky. Here comes our pole sitter champion, Ryan Robertson, coming into the pits here. Again, he doesn't need to push the envelope at all. No mistakes, no sliding your box. Even if he does, I think he has the buffer to overcome it, but he'll make a nice... I think he just uses fast repair. I saw a little pop out on the door there. No, he did not, but they just did a little bit of damage there. No, he did use a fast repair. Very interesting there. So, didn't know he had any issues, but hopefully for him he doesn't butcher it, because now he won't have a reprieve, because he has since used it. As Mark Wilson will complete the pit cycle here. Well, actually, not quite, because Chris Sherburn's still the only driver on circuit who has yet to pit, so he is in fourth. So everybody behind him will get a bump up one position here on the evening. Yep, Ryan, after all cycles, Ryan out by 5.5 seconds over his competition here. Let's just pull up our race recap here, because I think it does have a detail of interest here, and yes, it does. You can see the lap time there of a 1:28.932. That is our fast lap of the evening. So just showing that pace that he does have. The next fastest lap, I think, is that there in the... I think I can sift through it. I'm just looking through, and maybe a 29 flat that I'm seeing. So clearly he does have that pace and is showing it here on the evening. So Ryan just having it, like, he is just one of those guys who doesn't matter how often we do see him here in this series, no matter, he's had competition in the form of Mitch Heller. He's had competition in the form of Ross Booth, but I know Mitch Heller had a shoulder injury at some point. And when he had that shoulder injury, he was unfortunately not able to recover from it fast enough and had to take some time off. I know he had said even driving, because, you know, when you have your strong direct drive wheels here on iRacing, it can actually be a physically demanding task. I've had situations where, you know, my back, if I have back issues or what have you, getting into these cockpits is not easy. It will actually cause some physical pain, so he needed to recover. We haven't heard from him since, so not sure you know, where he stands with that. Hopefully we can see him pretty soon, because he was always some good competition between him, Ross, and Ryan, we had a good trio going for wins. But some of these guys have been able to hang on there. Certain tracks have favored certain drivers here, but Ryan has just had that magic touch, and he has been managing to do things that these guys just can't do. He puts that car in places, he holds the speed, he drives it in deep, just has the control here, and just has about 3 more laps here on the evening. Try to find something else going on circuit. Kevin Kyle and Bill Lucky. This is back 14th, 15th, but this is the next closest battle here on the racetrack. And Kevin Kyle kissed the wall there a little bit, exiting turn number 12, and that cost him some time there. That'll put him about a second or so behind Paul Lucky. And he'll kiss the wall exiting 3, so not a good lap for Kyle. Maybe got the tires a little overheated, a little dirty. Got himself out of rhythm there. And doesn't take much to bend some suspension parts there, so hopefully all is well there with that number 65 car. Centerville is in relative proximity to Dennis Griffin, and just as we get onto Robert Centerville's camera, he is going to loop it there. But he's gonna back up. No, Kevin Kyle's lap goes from bad to worse. So Centerville just didn't really know where to go. So I think this is leading on to the back straightaway here. I think the best thing he probably could have done. The best thing he probably could have done was try to do a donut. And instead, he backed in front of the track here. You see Kevin Kyle, he committed, and really nothing he could have done there. I don't know if there was any voice comms to let them know that there was going to be some issues there, but unfortunate there for a few of these guys to have those problems. I don't know, sometimes the RPM bands and these things with the traction control actually make it hard to kind of peel out and do a burnout here. That's kind of the NASCAR guy mentality, just peel it out and spin it around, but if you have to pop it in reverse here, it does take a lot more real estate to do that. But we're on lap number 19 right now. My estimator had us at 21 laps here on the evening, but I think we are gonna finish one short here of expectation. Somebody stopped here on the racetrack. That is Bryce Moyer here in the 964. Let's take a look. We got a lot of follies going on here in the back end of today's race. This is exiting turn number 2. No, this is the back end of it. This is exiting turn number 11. Hopping the curb, slow little loop. All right, he's in the wall here. Now he's trying to find a way to get himself situated here. I am keeping an eye on the clock, so let's not worry too much about that. But he's trying to find. So what he did is he just absolutely beelined it. I think he saw that there was enough of a gap there, beelined it into the opening there, and managed to get himself around. Probably did that in the best way he possibly could. In street circuit, big cars, it's not very easy to right yourself in those situations here, but this will be the white flag lap. You can see there on the timer, 20 seconds left to go, and we are well more than 20 seconds left before we complete this lap here. So Ryan will come through that stadium section one more time with a 6-second lead here, and you can see the timer about to expire here as Ryan's about 70% through the lap. Completely missed the turn number 8 there. That didn't set himself up for 9, 10, and 11 very well, but he's had the pace to slow it down. He had the time, so Ryan will come through the last few corners here. A season of domination, a season of victory, a season full of championship qualities here. He's going to come through, going to go 4 out of 6 on the season. Ryan Robertson going to get the win and the championship here at Belle Isle. So full congratulations go to him. Robert Barros, not a slouch himself. He will get second. Dave Hill with the third. And there comes Sheldon Rosenbaum with a fourth. And that will be Mark Wilson in fifth. So Dave Hill he had enough fuel to make it. Remember, he had the shortest stop possible. Still has to make it all the way back to the cool-down lap here to evade any post-race penalties here. So, but want to give congratulations again to Mr. Robertson. Everybody's still finishing their laps here. I don't see any battles here on circuit. So, everybody seemingly going to finish where they are here on track. So while they go ahead and finish things out here, you can see the cargo ship here on the background near the MacArthur Bridge. As we will finish this out, let's go ahead and give you the final rundown of results here today from Belle Isle, Detroit. Getting the win, 4th of the season, and the unofficial championship. That's Ryan Robertson getting it by almost 6 seconds over Barrows. Dave Hill in 3rd. Sheldon Rosenbaum with a 4th. 5th will be Mark Wilson. Robert Cantian in 6th. Rich Binkler in 7th. 8th, Dale Green. 9th is Les Turner. Dwayne McCarthy rounding out our top 10. Next page of results here, we have Chris Sherburne in 11th. Dennis Griffin in 12th. Bill Paul Lucky with the 13th. Brian Irby and Robert Sonneville 14th and 15th, and then Livingston, Moyer, Kyle, Prostel, and Kadrowski, and then just, of course, our Lone Ranger on the last page, Matt Owens, shotgun here on the field. While we are waiting on our interviewees here on the evening, I can see we have Lightning McQueen here today, so let's go. We'll grab Robert Barrows here. So Robert gets a 2nd here on the evening. Obviously, Ryan Robertson did Ryan Robertson things, but for a while, you kind of held within his range, and then he just kind of turned the jets on, and he just had a solid 2nd. But just talk about your night, man.
Yeah, let's just go and confirm you can hear me, I hope.
Yeah, I got you.
Excellent. Yeah, it was just, settle in, try to get a top 3. I thought was a reasonable thing. I didn't really think I had anything for Ryan. He pretty consistently seemed to have a couple tenths on everybody. So first goal was to just qualify top 3. I got 2nd, and then it's really hard to pass here, especially with everybody being relatively close on times. So it was just make no mistakes, finish off the last race. Hopefully I'll have to do in the Porsche, so that, with the Corvette and the Mustang coming up, I'm super anxious to switch over to the Corvette. Being a Corvette owner myself, I finally can go back to the proper car. I don't have a Corvette, but as a Chevy guy, I echo all those sentiments here. But just quickly, if you just talk about this track here, very difficult. Of course, we've been to Long Beach. This place is a lot bumpier than Long Beach, in my opinion. But we saw a lot of guys here, or at least I did anyways, having trouble with the curbs here, upsetting the car, getting the car in the air, and it just loops right around. Did you have any kind of issues in that regard here this evening? I did not. There were a couple curbs that I got the feel for how to use them to my advantage to get the car to rotate. And then the rest of them, there were definitely some strategically you did not want to touch because it would just shoot you off in the wall or really upset the car. Some of the slower ones where it's more of just a continuous radius, you could kind of roll over them and be okay. But yeah, definitely you had to be really aware of some of the curbs.
Well, we'll see what happens with the next season. I don't think we have any preliminary leads as to what the schedule is, so we'll all be surprised together, but we'll see what you can do, man. Congrats on a solid season and a solid run tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. See you later. And we will grab our unofficial yet almost definitive champion and race winner, Ryan Robertson. You smoked him again here tonight, but of any track where you can't let yourself off the, you can't slip your mind, it's definitely here at Detroit. And I saw you have a couple wiggles here. It must not have been completely easy.
Yeah, I mean, the Lambo is a little squirrely sometimes. I mean, probably most cars are with the bumps here. You're going to trigger your traction control, then the balance is going to get thrown off. So yeah, but I mean, the Lambo, at least, I don't know if the other cars had this, where if you even scraped a wall lightly, not even a 0x contact, it would damage the car. So I had to be like super careful.
So I did see in the pits, I was very surprised. I actually did see you have to pop the faster pair there. Was that what it was that triggered it, or was it kind of like cumulative damage from the curbs or something?
It was literally, coming down one of the straights, I just scraped the wall. No 0x, no nothing. And then it's like, you got damage. And I'm like, oh, okay. so it wasn't affecting anything. It was just one of the more cosmetic size of things. But it was yeah, I found that out in practice that you could just like barely scrape the wall with this thing and it just folds. So
yeah, we got paper mache
Definitely
cars
added.
here, at least in the Lambo here today. Well, we don't have any inklings as to what next season will be that I'm aware of yet. Usually I kind of have a little bit of a heads up. So is there anything on the anything that you're hoping for, you're praying for, we haven't seen in a while that you're kind of hoping find its way on the schedule for next season?
Maybe Road America. I don't think we've been there in a few seasons, and it's one of my favorite tracks to run at. So it'll be always be a fun time. And I know we're going to be doing some the new Corvette and Mustang races in the off season. So that's going to be a fun, enjoyable experience getting to learn those cars as well.
Yep, and as a fellow Chevy guy myself, and Robert Barrow's looking forward to it as well, so us Chevy guys can finally prosper. But congrats on another win, man, another championship, and we'll see what next season brings you.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
No problem. All right, and now we got Mr. Dave Hill wrapped up a third here on the evening, and most likely a second place here in the point standings, because I know Mark, your teammate, was your third place competitor, and you outlasted him here on the evening. But let's talk about the streets of Detroit here, Dave. What was it like from that 13 perspective tonight?
It was actually, it got to be pretty boring. I didn't really have anyone to race with this time, so, and I tagged the wall on my very first lap and apparently bent the wing according to my spotter guys, so it was just, I didn't want to pit early and get caught in the traffic, so I tried to go as long as I could, and then by that time I think I just wore out my tires trying to keep it under control, and made up a bit of time in the pits, which was the plan, but yeah, it handled really terrible after I got out of the pits, and I just decided to back it off a bit because I got a little too close for comfort to a couple of the walls after that, and I wanted to at least take a podium instead of not finishing.
That's always a good logic there, but that's usually a question that you brought up what you just said. It's usually a question that I ask Ryan when he's off in La La Land just dominating these races. It can be very easy to slip focus when you don't have direct competition, but I imagine here at Belle Isle, even if there wasn't too much going on in the way of competition, at least the track would definitely force you to keep yourself focused.
Yeah, I still tried to push, fairly hard. I'm terrible at backing down, backing off, and then I end up in the wall or off the track. If I'm not going 95 to 100% all the time, I'm terrible. So I had to at least try to keep a bit of pace in there for sure.
Well, an old joke I used to use is I'll put you in Tom Petty mode because you won't back down. But coming to the end of the season, of course, we don't have the schedule for next season yet. At least I don't know it anyways. I asked Ryan. He said if he had a choice, he'd make sure Road America got put on there. Do you have any tracks that you're kind of hoping slip their way on the schedule, favorites or ones that we haven't seen recently?
Yeah, I agree. Road America and, of course, Mossport, my home track. And to be honest, I really wish they'd put the full track Nürburgring back on. I think we've only did it once way back in the day, and we had a terrible turnout. But if we can get these guys on board and get in there, it's such a cool track to drive. I'll
tell you, I love Mossport as a driver. I hate it as a broadcaster because it's probably one of the ugliest tracks in iRacing. So I have a very split opinion there. But from a driver's perspective, certainly a fun place, man. But congrats on a solid podium and a solid season, Dave, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time.
All right, thanks to you guys, and thanks to Les for keeping the league going. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll see what comes up next.
Yeah, for sure, man. See you later.
See ya.
All right, well, that will be a broadcast here on the evening. Our top three. Congratulations, of course, going to Ryan Robertson on his unofficial but almost 100% positive championship here on the evening. Again, make sure you like and subscribe, all that fun stuff here as we grow the channel. Got some stuff coming up. We'll be back here live Saturday night with the Spartan Sim Racing League, their endurance 240 lapper here at Charlotte, and then we'll be back when these guys fire it back up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's going to be Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.